Alright, so I am presenting on Korean myths and folklore. And the reason I want to do on this is this semester, one of my classes, we read the Ramayana. And through that, I felt like I was able to learn a lot about Indian culture and Hinduism, which I wasn't familiar with. There's a lot of like origin myths and folklore in that. And so I felt like for someone who's not familiar with Korea and its culture, learning about its folktales is a really good way to understand its history and culture. Um, these are the two books I read. The one by Suzanne Crowder on was really good. She's considered to be the expert on this, and it's interesting because she originally went to Korea as part of the Peace Corps, and she learned Korean through these folk tales, and she argues that her Korean ability, like in speaking it, came through while she learned this. She was able to understand the culture and the history, and that added to her language ability. So it's kind of an interesting argument. Looking at folk tales, they entertain us, they educate us, and they preserve the culture of a country. They're passed down traditionally through oral tradition. They've been written down now. There's not necessarily an author, it's kind of owned by the community, I guess. Um, and the common themes are often mythical, funny, tragic, and they explain the world around us, they answer why things are the way they are. Creation is basically the theme of good versus evil and different virtues. So this is a picture of a popular tale in Korea that if you take in the literature class with Dr. Peterson you're familiar with, it's Hungu and Norbu. And basically, quickly, it's the story of Hungu, who is poor, the benevolent younger brother with a big family and tons of kids. And Norbu is the older brother who cheated his younger brother out of his inheritance and he's evil and selfish, and ultimately good conquers, goodness is rewarded, evil is punished, and it's interesting how this is, like you say, translated time and evolved with time. Today, North Korea uses this tale, and they consider South Korea to be Morgu, the evil, wealthy brother, and they're the poor, benevolent one, and in the end they'll conquer. And it's a way that they're able to kind of, not, I guess, brainwash the people that like it's okay that we're so poor, in the end we'll prosper. And so we can see those themes of goodness being rewarded and evil punished. And then looking at folklore in America, tall tales, some that we're familiar with is George Washington and the cherry tree. George Washington just couldn't tell a lie. Teaches honesty. Then there's Johnny Appleseed, the Unsinkable Molly Brown, different people that we're familiar with and different tall tales behind them. Also, origin myths, something that we're all familiar with. All religions and cultures have them. We're familiar with Greek mythology, and of course, the story in Genesis of God creating the world in 6 days. The Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, people serpent, forbidden fruit. You know the story. But this answers the question of how we came to be. Korea, they have their own creation myth. That's Utongun. It's the first emperor of Korea. He founded the Korean nation. Also, there's mythical creatures. I was going to read just some excerpts from James Reardon, his translation of it. But I think we're all familiar with it. It's the story of the bear and the tiger and the garlic. And ultimately, the bear is able to do it for 100 days and becomes a woman. The tiger, who would have become a man, doesn't do it for 100 days. There's a lot of lessons we can learn about patience of the bear and being rewarded, becoming a woman. And then Tongan was the first man created the nation of Korea. When I first heard this, I kind of thought, well, that's ridiculous. Who could believe that? Also kind of ridiculous. But they don't necessarily have to be logical, but it's our answer to questions we don't know how to answer. That's not a personal view, but yeah. So looking at Korean culture through folktales, we can understand modern Korea's culture by understanding folktales. It provides different insights of ethos, deep-rooted beliefs and customs, and like I said, it can help us learn language, culture, and history. And then just to close out different themes in folklore, I read, in the two books I read, probably about 80 different short tales, and they're really interesting. They're different stories about like the virtues of women and a lot of good conquering evil, but some themes, a lot of animal tales, demons, supernatural, reward and punishment, and cleverness and stupidity. And so I encourage you, if you have time, want to learn about Korean culture, to look at the folk tales, and it's awesome.